second edition of Trips and Traps. I'm Richard Migliore, joined by my main man, Ernie Munick. I am not in good voice. I apologize in advance. We have 3 turf races for you today. Not surprisingly, more trips in turf races.
No, especially in sprints, Mig. And it's not easy for me, I speak for myself, to judge the pace of these races and to predict, is the better way to say it, how these paces are going to unfold on turf.
Well, we see so many races that appear to have a lot of pace on paper, and then no pace shows up. Well, we had one race, and actually that was May 29th, and we're going to look at number 9, Saratoga Smoke. And this race had an unbelievably fast pace, particularly for in a turf race.
Very interesting, Mig. And Saratoga Smoke, you'll see in the yellow cap right there, the yellow cap, who is outside chasing Pussy Willow, who set a very fast first quarter in particular. You can see the yellow cap there moving to the lead, and Larry Colmus mentions the intensity of that early pace as well. If you go back and watch for yourself, not the easiest trip, Mig, when you need to go the full mile in the 16.
No, and she was one of the speeds, along with the horse that's in front right now, and that's Pussy Willow with Castellano. Eric Cancel asked her for a run away from the gate, which I think you're supposed to do. But I think what wound up happening was she got keen. So when he tried to get a hold of her, now basically she's running away with him. So I know people will say, well, why didn't he try to rate? He was outside. I think this filly was very headstrong at that point, and it's not like driving a car where you press on the accelerator, and when you let off the gas, they come back.
You know, Mick, also, while occasionally a jockey will make a mistake for going too soon or engaging a front runner too soon, I'm at the point where under any circumstances, I want an aggressive ride out of the gate, because so often than not, they're either over-guiding, struggling with fighting the horse, and getting the horse in trouble, taking the fight out of the horse.
I think there's a fine balance between doing too much away from there and not doing enough. And I think you want horses to get in their own rhythm where they're happy. Now, we're going to see the other speeds start falling away.
Yes.
And this is the last girl standing, so to speak. And we can stop it here 1 second, and we will take a look.
The yellow cap.
Here's this filly, still in the yellow cap, Saratoga Smoke. And here was the other speed who's stopping far worse. That's Pussy Willow. This filly actually hung in much better than she had a right to, considering the supersonic pace.
I agree. And a horse like Flatter Me Fabulous might not have broken great, but still got into good position afterward. But you know, Pussy Willow faded. This was a pretty tenacious performance. Now the question is, was that too big of an effort to come back off? And you know, now Saratoga's coming up. And, you know, maybe one more race, then a class drop at Saratoga. Sometimes, Mig, our horses to watch regress a bit, but then, boom.
Well, she is named Saratoga Smoke. Maybe she'll be better off 2 turns in Saratoga. Where she'll run into the first turn and kind of back off. Obviously, you don't want to see her and Pussy Willow engage like that again, because you can't win that way.
No, and this is the type of filly who might need a drop and might need to be loose. You know, it looks as though maybe she needs shorter, but who knows? Going slower, going longer might work out as well.
And most of the time when horses get clear, they will relax. These two just had too much company, too competitive.
Who knows better than you? To me, you might have your own opinions about what was Mig's maybe greatest strength of the rider. You putting them on the lead and letting them find their groove was my favorite feature of yours as a rider.
Well, you're making me blush.
No, it's true.
Well,
Wild again, Meadowlands Cup. Watch that into the first turn. Sorry.
Well, let's move on. The same day, May 29th. What race was that, Ernie, again?
This was the
ninth race. And let's take a look at number 4, QUANIQUE here. First-time starter from the Bobby Robato barn with Dylan Davis. Now, QUANIQUE broke okay.
Flat-footed. I thought he was a little flat-footed. Coming out of
no doubt. A little bit slow, but much like many first-time starters. I thought this filly ran a sneaky good race from a barn that doesn't really crank them up for their first start. And I think this is a race she can really build on and move forward. Now, if not the next time, the third time might be the charm. But I am going to follow this filly back.
Very interesting. And I'm also enjoying the process here of watching Dylan Davis and his thought process. Now, I don't know what he's thinking, Mig, but as I'm watching the replay, and maybe some of you can watch the head-on at home, I get the feeling he's looking for a spot to save ground. I've been watching, whether it's on dirt or on grass, I've seen Dylan several times make concerted efforts, and I know they all should be doing this, but he's a young rider, and he's very cognizant of not losing ground if possible, and he's doing it again here.
Well, I think it's in his pedigree. His father was a good turf rider because he saved ground. Now, here's Dylan on QUANIQUE. Right in front of him is the eventual winner, Vale Dance. You're going to see when Vale Dance, the 10, comes out, Dylan is going to be in a little bit tight, not have enough horse to get up there to hold him in. And I think it stymied his forward progress a little bit, through no fault of his own, obviously. And you're going to see she's going to be in tight as the 10 comes out for clear running. You saw she had to throw her head a bit there. Now she's going to have to come out again. Again, she didn't have enough run at this point to hold that filly in. But I think she learned a lot, splitting horses, being down inside. Got a lot out of the race, not just physically, but mentally.
It's so interesting, Mig. I've noticed it. You've noticed it. I've heard you talk on the air about it. Other people, this is why I'm bringing it up, have noticed it. Does he not bear somewhat of a resemblance riding to his dad, or did Robbie maybe fold up a little tighter?
No, I think they look exactly alike. It's uncanny how much Dylan Davis and Robbie Davis finish on a horse, look like on a horse. And this is a horse, I think, going forward, you want to keep an eye on. QUANIQUE, if not the next time, the following time, for a barn that sets a horse up for a career, not for their first race. And I think she got a lot out of her first race. And we would be remiss not to mention Vale Dance was a Trips and Traps horse that delivered at 10-1.
Oh, it was so beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. My palms are sweating. This is the best thing about this, other than, of course, us collecting on Vale Dance. Mig, last week you talked about these jockeys who should get position early. It doesn't always work. For instance, Erod got position last week on a grass horse who still had nothing anyway.
Sure, you still need horse.
You still need the horse.
Right.
But Manny Franco with Vale Dance got it right in the game, immediately out of the gate, and then started dropping back. Got position. That was, I'm not sure if that's easy to do, Mig, but that was a quintessential example of what you talked about last week.
Get your position going forward, then give them an opportunity. Vale Dance was much more tuned in to her second start.
Oh, beautiful.
And I think you're going to see a lot of the same thing from QUANIQUE next time. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Maybe we'll make a little money again.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, let's move on to May 30th, and we're going to take a look at the stake race, race 9. I believe it was race 9.
Yes.
And we're looking at number 12 here, and that is Old Harbor. And she is in the pink with the green. And you're going to see she's steadying just a touch right here. This filly's coming off layoff. Tough post position.
6 months.
6 months. She was a bit keen and never really had a comfortable spot. And I think subtly she can build on this race as well.
I agree 100%. And first of all, before I even talk about her trip, as we watch the pink cap out there, you're going to see the mare has the shadow.
As I can't get this to clear.
There we go. Hold on. There we go. You see outside Arroyo has kind of got her in hand now in the shadow roll. First off, a 6-year-old now, mare, an older, an aging, hard-spun. I won't use the cliche about fine wine, but you look at all these hard-spun geldings, and I spoke to Larry Jones about it last year. He's loving it as well. He thinks the hard-spuns get absolutely better by the year. Now, as far as Old Harbor goes, hung out all the way. A little bit of not anxious moments, but a little bit of steadying early on. Dig Saratoga, Mig, and keeps plugging away.
Well, even here, she was in between. She had a steady. She was keen. Didn't look like the easiest mare to handle, probably because she was fresh. And I think another one that just got a lot out of this physically, and we'll take a look where she is again here. And she's going to wind up getting clearance, but then lose some ground as well. And I think this was a subtle trip that might go pretty much unnoticed.
Last year, Mig, she won third off. Very interesting. Does she sneak in one more and then Saratoga, bang? Maybe. It's kind of like what we were talking about before. Sometimes horses for courses. But here she is hung out. She's just about 4 wide right now. She's going to come way out. Now, you think maybe she's done, but she keeps plugging and plugging and plugging. And by the end, she's not that far off, Mig.
No, and the Teacups, the eventual winner, number 7, got first run on her, which she couldn't have kept up at that point anyway. I think this is a big mare, a mare that needs racing to get fit. Some horses you can get fit with workouts. Some need to race to
very
get fit.
Interesting.
I think this is a big mare that can be a little bit stuffy, and I think she needed this race, potentially could need another one. But these are horses we need to look at going forward, and maybe we'll have a payday.
One quick question about older mares. I hear this now and then. Someone will, we've seen it, whether we saw it with Rachel or now actually better would be Untappable. Sometimes the fillies, or when they become a mare, they lose a little interest. That old story you always hear about. They get old if their heart's not in anymore. It's just like we're done. It's time to go. Yet, Mig, there are older mares who still have that desire. I mean, or is it a standard thing for mares to lose interest as they get older?
Well, no, I think it's a very individualistic thing, no doubt. And some mares, their biological clock gets to ticking like that, and they want to be mamas, not racehorses.
Isn't that something?
But I think Old Harbor still wants to be a racehorse. We'll know for sure next time, and we can always use your help. Remember, trips and traps at NYRAInc.com.